A to Z Sports Live on a Titans Thursday. Going to have a great show this morning because Zach and I dug deep in the Titans record books to find something that they have a chance to do on Sunday against Jacksonville that they haven't done in 11 years. And it's something that they have only done twice in the team's history. So we'll discuss that and get your confidence level in the Titans beating the Jags on Sunday in Nissan Stadium, the home opener for the Tennessee Titans. Then I thought Mike Vrabel had some intriguing comments when he was asked about how he thought Clowney played Monday versus the Broncos. So we'll play you that video.
Is this your hottest take of the week on that?
I mean, it's only Thursday.
I think this is your hottest take. I know what your take is.
You know my take about.
I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm curious to hear what everybody else has to say. I think this could be the hottest take of the week.
You think I'm doing a very solid broad jump from the video that we're going to hear to the take that I have.
Knowing that you lose power the older you get and you're 30. So, yes, I do think you're doing a broad jump.
Was one of my strengths back in the day. But, hey, the last time I did a broad jump was also the last time the Titans achieved what we're going to be talking about later on today. So we're going to have a good show. Then we're going to we have an interesting Corey Davis topic as well. And then, of course, Zach, it's the BioPure Music City Magic Bucket. And, yes, I am prepared this week, unlike last week. And I am very proud of the sticker that I have today. So we're going to have a good show. Titans Thursday, always fun. Let's do it.
Yeah, A to Z Sports before we get started officially. And it's pretty interesting. I think we're going to drop some knowledge on some people that have no idea what the title of our show is. 11 seasons is a long time. Yeah. But Austin, look, I think good job on kudos to find this. I didn't know this before our pre-show meeting, but we will unveil that information here very shortly. Before we do, though, bottom right corner of your screen, if you're watching on Periscope/Twitter, you'll see those three little dots. You can share the broadcast that way. We need to pop up in your Twitter followers timeline. Please retweet the show. That would help us out. What's going on YouTube? What's going on Twitch? We welcome you guys in. And also Facebook. More people will pile in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. And as you do, please share the show. It is Titans Thursday. We've branded Titans Thursday for years now. It is hashtag Titans Thursday on A to Z Sports. Bottom left corner of your screen, if you're watching on Facebook, share now to public. We need to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. Share around on this Titans Thursday.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at A to Z Sports, and you like our Facebook page at A to Z Sports Nashville. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time. Got to thank our sponsors because they make everything happen for us, and they help you guys out. RentersWarehouse.com, Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlord in the Nashville area. Zach, were you picking your teeth live on the show? Good Lord. Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness.
Well, nobody knew that. They were listening to you until you said that. Next time you're picking those plugs while I'm doing a live read,
pick my nose on the show.
Look, bro.
My
gosh. What do? You digging for gold up there?
You need a fork to get in there to get that out? All right. But Mandu.com, your first workout is free. At Mandu.com, a 15-minute workout that simulates 5+ hours in the weight room. The Tucker Agency, saving you relief on your personal insurance at TuckerTN.com. Calvin and Subtle for your hardwood floors and finishings, CalvinandSubtle.com. And the Bone and Joint Institutes, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, boneandjointtn.org. So now that Zach's got his teeth all clean and everything's good.
Well, no, I haven't. Yeah,
you haven't. So you were unsuccessful with the finger there.
I do have my zebra mug.
That's a very interesting mug there. So Zach, the Titans have an opportunity to do something for the first time in 11 seasons, and they've only done this twice in their entire history. So when I brought this up to you this morning, what was your initial thoughts of like what this achievement would be for the Titans organization?
Well, we do have one person that has gotten it right already.
That's true. That is true. I saw that, and I didn't want to dig into that yet.
Yep. But my first reaction was, let me figure out when that was. I knew that because it was 2008 And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Jamal gets the crown for the show. The Titans have not started 2-0 in 11 seasons. That's wild. Like that is wild. And 2-0, we know what 2-0 in the percentage. We really know what 0-2 means as far as playoff teams. The Titans escaped Denver with the W. Now they play the Jags coming off a win against the Colts. But the first thing that I thought of was, what about that 3-1 start a handful of years ago when old Jake Locker, the hunter in his deer stand, got his hip out of whack against the Jets? I remember that game like it was yesterday because I was in the press box and we all started talking about hips. Bo Jackson, is his career over? Oh my gosh, it's an ambulance. It was scary at the time, right? Because I was a franchise quarterback. But I was thinking that would have been the only other time that they would have started 2-0, but you proved me wrong or corrected me and said, no, that was not the case.
That was 2013. It was Mike Munchak's last season as head coach. And what happened is the Titans kicked off the season in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. And on that opening kickoff, Darius Raynaud took a safety. But the Titans ended up winning that game. And then they went to Houston the following week and lost in overtime. So they went 1-1. Then they beat the Chargers and they beat the Jets. And they looked great in that Jets game before Jake Locker got hurt. And they started 3-1, and there was a lot of optimism about the team. And then Locker got hurt while he was playing well, and they lost several games after that. They finished 7-9. Then they hired Ken Wisenhunt. And ever since then, like, it's been really crazy for the Titans organization. Now they have been to the playoffs now multiple times since 2008. They've been to the playoffs twice, and they've won playoff games each time they've been there, but they have yet to find a way to start 2-0 and to start hot in this season, to start a season. And so now there's an opportunity, guys, where the Titans escape the jaws of defeat in Denver with Gostkowski making the 25-yard field goal. They come and they host the Jacksonville Jaguars in Nashville, the home opener, and the Jags are fresh off an upset victory over the Indianapolis Colts. So the only other time, 2008 is the last time the Titans started 2-0. The only other time in the team's history that they've done this, and they've had a lot of good football teams 2008 prior, right? 1999. 1999 was the only other time the Titans started off 2-0. They started off 3-0 in that season. They got 6-1 by Halloween, and they went to the Super Bowl that year. So isn't it crazy? Even the really good team the following year after the Super Bowl started off 0-1 by losing to Buffalo in Week 1. But this could be a big opportunity for the Tennessee Titans this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about this even before the Denver game heading into the season, that this is an opportunity to start fast out of the gate and get a stranglehold on the AFC South. And then after the bye week, you're going to be playing the Bengals and the Bears. You go through a tough stretch, and then you get a good stretch of games towards the end of the season too. But the hard part about last season is they were just digging themselves out of a hole after 2-4 because they tried to figure out Marcus Mariota. This year is completely different. They've come out of the gates and they've looked good. They didn't look great on Monday night, but they looked like they
got to win.
They had an efficient offense. It didn't end in touchdowns every single time. Sure as hell didn't end in field goals every time, but it looked efficient. We'll talk about Corey Davis later on in the show. Before we move on, I do want to ask you a trivia question real quick because I looked something up. I don't think you're going to be able to guess this, but you may surprise me. In that Jets game when they started 3-1,
what jerseys were they wearing?
No, I do know that. Do you know?
No.
Well, that wasn't the question.
Okay, go ahead.
The question was, who was the leading rusher of the Titans in their 38-13 victory over the Jets that season?
In 2013.
I will give you a hint because you need this. Chris Johnson had 15 carries for 21 yards. Chris Johnson was not the leading rusher in that game.
2013, that was the first season I covered the Tennessee Titans.
So that will help you out.
There's a lot of – I would see Steph Dobbs brings up Jamie Harper. For whatever reason, I thought Jackie Battle, but it's not Jackie Battle, is it?
It is.
It's Jackie Battle?
Yes. Way to go. Now, that is the most impressive thing that you have done all week. Right before the hottest take that you've had all week.
Yes.
Jackie Battle, 11 carries, 42 yards. Bravo, Austin. That's good Titans trivia.
Well, I know this because we liked Jackie Battle that year.
Really? Yeah, we did.
2013, guys, was also the very first Titans season of A to Z Sports working together, which is also a little history nugget there. So Jackie Battle's a guy we talked to several times in the locker room over that season. So, all right, so the first time the Titans can start 2-0 is if they beat the Jags the first time since 2008, Zach. So let's do this. Let's get everybody else involved in this conversation. What is your confidence level in the Titans beating the Jags on Sunday? What is your confidence level in the Titans beating the Jags on Sunday? Before we get to your answers, let's tell you about the professional landlords in Nashville. That is Renters Warehouse Nashville at renterswarehouse.com. Go there. Check them out to find out how much your home can rent for. There's so many different ways they can help you out during this pandemic. So if your income is lower and your mortgage is still the same or higher and digging into that income, go to Renters Warehouse before you sell that house. Don't panic sell your house. Keep that long-term equity. If you already own rental property, go to renterswarehouse.com. Learn about getting that mailbox money. Renters Warehouse Nashville and renterswarehouse.com.
Also, for all of our Titans fans, if you want to put money, your confidence level, just going through a couple of the numbers, hell, you should go to mybookie.ag, use my Titans, put $100 in your bank account, really have $200 to bet, and bet on the Titans beating the Jags, because if your confidence levels line up, you think the Titans are going to beat the Jags. Now, you obviously have to play the spread on that, but we're hooking you up, my Titans, MY Titans, at mybookie.ag. If you've been thinking about, hey, where do I bet? How do I bet? We've teamed up with MyBookie this year to say, hey, let's give back to the Titans fan base that we have, sprinkle some money in their pockets. Maybe they can win some more money. So my Titans right there. All right, let's read some comments because as I look through them, there's a lot of high numbers. I'm going to run through these real quick. Jose says 10. The Premier Titan says 8.4. Roderick says 10. Cassie says 10. French Titan says 6. That's the lowest one so far. Michael says 8. Corey says 7.777. Larry goes 10. Michael McDonald, You Don't Know Me, Doobie Brothers goes 10. Jose comes in with a 10 again. Jared says 5.5. So that's the lowest we've had. Lee says 8. Dom says 8.5. Manuel says 9. Steph says 8 because Derrick Henry lives to destroy the Jags. You should get a like for that on Periscope. You are correct on that. Josh Brown says 10. Ken says 8. Kyle says 8. Randy says 8. Chris says 9. There's a ton. Ricky says 8. Paulie D says 8.6. Otis says 7 because of the injuries. And Carson also says 7. The Titans win, but the Jags cover. So there's some my bookie info.
So Marcus, not Marcus. Marcus says this will jinx the Titans. Anytime the Titans have a chance to beat a bad record, they can't do it. His confidence level is at a 5.
Marcus is not wrong, right? We're going on history here.
Yeah, I mean,
they aren't going to do this.
Because look, last year we were talking about the same thing, right? Because the Titans last year to open the season looked so much better beating the Browns compared to how they looked beating the Broncos Monday night. And then you had a division opponent coming into Nashville for the season opener in the Indianapolis Colts, who had their Hall of Fame, soon-to-be Hall of Fame quarterback retire like 3 weeks before, and they found a way to lose the game against the Colts. So Juan asked, what did I miss? One, the Titans against the Jags on Sunday have a chance to go 2-0 for the first time in this franchise's history since 2008. They've only had two 2-0 starts since they became the Tennessee Titans. 1999 and 2008. And I think in 2020, this is a great opportunity to do this. And so I haven't given my opinion yet on my confidence level, but I do think there are a couple factors that go into this week's game on Sunday that makes me feel good about the Titans situation. One is the Titans squeaked out that win against Denver. They missed opportunity. They made a bunch of mistakes. They should have won by a lot more. They had some injuries. They overcame those. They did a good job. But overall, did they really deserve to win that game Monday? I mean, you could argue no because of all the mistakes they made early with penalties, Rashaan Evans punching Jake Butt, and then the missed field goals. But they figured out a way to win. So now their attention is on. They escaped that game. And then Kevin Byard's quote yesterday to the media is, I think the Colts underestimated the Jags. The Jags beating the Colts in week 1 also catches the Titans' attention as well. So the Titans will not underestimate the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Titans will not go out there thinking they can just go through and do what they do and beat the Jags because they almost lost the Broncos. That makes me at an 8 out of 10 confidence level that the Titans will beat the Jags. I don't know if they're going to cover the 8.5-point spread that's currently available at mybookie.ag, but I do feel comfortable the Titans will beat the Jags on Sunday.
Yeah, you know what? I don't disagree with you. I'm actually a little bit higher than this. The one thing that does scare me is the Minshew efficiency rate. He was super efficient against the Colts. I mean, he was. And this is probably why they kept him. I think the Minshew mustache magic runs out. I think it runs dry. I don't think it's consistent. I think the Jags are not a, above average team. They're not going to win 9 games. But I do think if they allow him to stay in his lane, control the clock, play good defense, they have good wide receivers. They don't have great wide receivers by any means. But if Minshew can help have his playmakers work for him like he did in Indy, I watched that game. There was only a handful of really good games. Minshew was very good. And the Titans have to slow him down, but I just think that the Titans are a better football team. Now, that doesn't always mean that they win, but at home, coming off of a win, knowing that they left a lot on the table in Denver, I also value that. I'm actually at an 8.5, so slightly above you, because I think they will start 2-0. The Jags will not start 2-0. And if the Titans do, in fact, lose to the Jags, Houston, we have a problem. So but I'm at an 8.5. I think this is the year where they're well coached. Their quarterback is efficient. They've got guys stepping up offensively, and the reliability of Derrick Henry. And then what you mentioned in the postgame show, Austin, when we had it at the Mainstay, which we'll have a postgame, pregame, and halftime show all at the Mainstay on Sunday, is defensively they didn't look like they were missing Dean Pease. I value that. And
just that one drive in the second half when the Broncos marched down the field with ease and scored a touchdown to retake the lead.
I thought that was more momentum stuff, right? Like that is when a team scores, you have to answer. So they rose to the occasion to answer that score. I didn't think it was indicative on bad defensive play calling or anything like that, because the Broncos proved that they weren't consistent at those drives.
True. A to Z Sports here live. We're going to read some comments here because I want to bring up the Jags game from last year, because the Titans started last year 1-1 after dropping week 2 to the Colts. And Thursday night was in Jacksonville. It was a rainy night. It was disgusting. It was gross. And Gardner Minshew, that's the only time they played Gardner Minshew, because when the Titans came back and blew out the Jags at home later on that season, Nick Foles was the quarterback for the Jags, and that game was not close whatsoever. They were able to do something against Nick Foles they were not able to do against Gardner Minshew, and that was sack the quarterback. The Titans did not sack Drew Lock on Monday, and Gardner Minshew was not sacked by the Titans last year in Jacksonville, and he threw 30 passes. He was 20 for 30, 200 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. Very efficient overall, Gardner Minshew in week 3 against the Titans in Jacksonville last year. So what he did Sunday against the Colts, only 1 incomplete pass, getting rid of the ball quickly, making the right reads, and throwing accurate passes. That was impressive from Gardner Minshew, and the Titans have to be able to get after him. Now, what I don't think is going to happen Sunday in Nashville that happened last year in Jacksonville is the Titans quarterback getting sacked 9 times by the Jags defense, because the Jags don't have those guys sticking around. Ngakwe's gone. Calais Campbell, who dominated that game, he's also gone. So
what was the X factor of that game?
The X factor in that game was Adoree Jackson fumbling a punt in the first quarter inside the Titans' 10.
A mistake.
Yes.
When better teams, the Titans are like how much are they favored by?
I believe the latest at mybookie.ag was 8.5. It started at 11.
Right? So you're 8.5 point favorite. Vegas knows that the Titans are a much better team than the Jacksonville Jaguars. The only way that teams like that beat you, and you could even go back when Mariota broke his leg. What hurt them? The Titans were trying to make the playoffs that year. The Jags were a 2-win team at the time. You got to remember that, right? The only reason why the Jags won that game, they had no business winning that game, but they did based on mistakes. It's turnovers. So you know how, and we learned this last year, Vrabel likes to have 3 keys to each week, and he puts them around the facility. So when you walk around, and we've seen them when we were in the facility before coronavirus, is I think the number one, maybe we can create a segment right here. I like this because I like what is the predicting? What are those 3 things? I think the number one thing that he puts around St. Thomas Sports Park is turnover-free football. That will win you the game. It will. And like that's a generality.
Yeah.
Right. But when you play a lesser opponent and you're an 8.5 point favorite, that becomes heightened even more because you can backdoor your way. A guy and the Jags, let's just face it, they're riding on probably more hope than they've had since their AFC Championship season a few years ago because they beat the Colts. They've actually won 3 out of their last 4 games dating back to last season.
Yeah. A to Z Sports, Rob says Henry will run wild, 150 plus and 2 touchdowns. Larry says he's at a 10. Derrick Henry owns the Jags. He did not own them in Jacksonville last year. That's for sure. And Steph Dobbs says this is which Derrick Henry will have another 30 carry game. LOL. Because you're right. I think if we're trying to predict what Mike Vrabel's 3 things would be, turnover free football is definitely one of them. And then I think pressure the quarterback and disrupt Gardner Minshew. You can't let Gardner Minshew throw for 90% completion rate. Like that's ridiculous. You have to be able to have the football hit the ground, and you cannot rely on Jerry Jeudy-like drops from some of the Jags wide receivers who I think are way more talented than the national media or fans give them credit for. DJ Chark, very good. Laviska Shenault, rookie, touchdown in week 1 of his career. So I think Cole, another like that. Those guys are fast, they're talented, and you cannot let Gardner Minshew just dish it up without any pressure. So they have to get after Minshew, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're no-name guys that are in the NFL for a reason, right? They're not known like DJ Chark is known, I guess, but maybe just because we cover NFC South or an AFC South team, right? But in general, if you asked a guy on the street in Portland, which I wouldn't recommend, but if you asked a guy on the street in Portland, give me 2 receivers, hell, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he'd look at you and say, bro, go smoke a doobie. I have no idea.
Yes. All right, A to Z Sports. Let's see here. Larry says, I think Clowney gets 3 sacks. So that turns us to this. Zach thinks this upcoming take is my hottest take so far this week. So I think Mike Vrabel had a very intriguing comment about Jadeveon Clowney in his Zoom press conference on Tuesday after the Titans game. So I'll play that video of the comment. It includes the question so you understand how the comment was what the comment was referencing with the question. So we will play that video here shortly. But first, Zach, tell the people about the Tucker Agency.
Yeah, the Tucker Agency can save you money on your insurance. Nashville's independent insurance agency. Will Tucker and his team can take care of you in a time of question. I mean, let's face it. If you've lost your job or lost income, you need some money. And an easy way to reorganize is to change your insurance to the Tucker Agency. TuckerTN.com. You can email Will Tucker and his team at Will, W-I-L-L, at TuckerTN.com. You really have no reason not to do this, right? You have nothing to lose. He's going to look at your policy and say, hey, look, let's break this down this way. We're going to save you money. The average customer that emails Will at tuckertn.com about his insurance saves 20%. And you're going to get good insurance. You don't have to be in Nashville necessarily, right? Like it's open. Everybody's got insurance. Will at tuckertn.com.
All right, A to Z Sports. I did just check. It's mybookie.ag, code MyTitans. The Titans are an 8.5-point favorite over the Jags at mybookie.ag. It started at 11, so I think the closer that creeps down, go jump on it. If it gets down to under a touchdown, I would totally jump on the Titans minus less than a touchdown. Again, mybookie.ag, code MyTitans to double your first deposit here on a Titans Thursday on A to Z Sports. Zach, I will play. This was Tuesday morning. The Titans had just returned from Denver, an early morning flight after beating the Broncos 16-14. So that's why Mike Vrabel is probably lower energy here on this Zoom. But Terry McCormick asked him a question about Jadeveon Clowney's play. Listen closely to his answer here.
When you watched the film, how did you assess how Jadeveon Clowney did? And I know he played quite a few snaps. Can you talk about, I guess, his presence on the field, what he was able to do?
I think we all have to improve and play better. We all have to get in better shape. And we all have to improve and take the coaching and figure out, how to operate and play better as a unit, whether that be on defense, special teams, or offense. There are some plays that were good and some plays that we'd like to have back from pretty much everybody.
So there's Mike Vrabel. So I counted 3 we alls. He was asked directly about Jadeveon Clowney's play. And I think, Zach, you can place or replace all 3 of the we alls with Clowney or JD or Jadeveon or whatever Mike Vrabel wants to, however he wants to address Jadeveon Clowney. Here's my translation to those comments. Quote, I think Jadeveon has to improve and play better. Jadeveon has to get in better shape, and Jadeveon has to improve in taking the coaching and figuring out how to operate and play better as a unit. I think Jadeveon Clowney, this is me now, I think Jadeveon Clowney made some plays early in that game Monday. I think he fizzled out towards the end. He played a lot of snaps. He's definitely out of shape, which is within reason, right? He's only been around for 2 weeks. But I think there was some times where Jadeveon Clowney on snaps, certain snaps, played selfishly and said, JD's going to make a play, and it ended up hurting the Titans defense. And a couple of those is when he chooses to shoot a gap inside and the ball goes right outside of him and he lost contain and now somebody's being hung out to dry. So that is how I translate that comment from Mike Vrabel on Tuesday when he was asked directly about Jadeveon Clowney.
Here's where I understand your reasoning behind it. Let's listen to it again.
Okay.
Because so now the viewers, they watched the clip, you diagnosed it of what your opinion is. Now I want you to remember how much Mike Vrabel loves talking about Jadeveon Clowney and answering Clowney questions. That's being facetious.
Yeah.
And then now listen to what his answer is. I just don't think he wanted to answer the question. So let's.
When you watched the film, how did you assess how Jadeveon Clowney did? And I know he played quite a few snaps. Can you talk about, I guess, his presence on the field, what he was able to do?
I think we all have to improve and play better. We all have to get in better shape. And we all have to improve and take the coaching and figure out, how to operate and play better as a unit, whether that be on defense, special teams, or offense. There are some plays that were good and some plays that we'd like to have back from pretty much everybody.
So there's Mike Vrabel. And again, that clip, every clip we play here brought to you by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Now, Zach, I will let you react to, because I had the floor earlier, where I think you could have placed all 3 we alls with Clowney.
I just think he didn't want to answer the question. And if Vrabel gets like that, we know that. I think a lot of coaches get like that at times. I will say, on a completely side note, the red polo they're now starting to do red accents with these jerseys. Lawan's got a red sleeve. Bayard's been rocking the red sleeve for a while. Derrick Henry had the red shoes. Maybe that's a trend. Maybe that's this year's 2020 jersey accent.
I can dive in deeper to that. The reason why Vrabel started to wear red on these Zooms is because he always would wear the same thing, and every Zoom looked the exact same. And so now he's actually noticed that he's changing the things that he wears because everything looks the same on Zoom. So that's
or Nike sent him a brand new shipment of swag.
That maybe so.
I just think that when they were going through the Jadeveon Clowney thing, we all know the.
Oh, I've got it. You want to play? I've got that too. If you want to hit that or go down that.
Same to play.
Nick Beasley, I just want to address, where we are with that, and me personally.
My bad. That's the wrong one.
That's not it. No, you're.
I accidentally deleted the wrong one though. I purposely tried to save the Jadeveon Clowney head drop.
Well, we don't need it. Everybody's seen it. The head drop is, I don't want to answer your question. And I think that he gave the same very vanilla team-oriented question is, we're going out there, we're trying to win a game, we're trying to go 1-0, we're trying to play like a unit and play together, and we've just got a game plan for this week. You could say that every single time. Now, Vrabel does a good job in the media. I'm not slashing him saying that he avoids questions, but sometimes he does. And that's understandable. I think that was one of the questions he was just trying to.
He was at, and look, we know that Mike.
It's not fair. I don't give excuses to Jadeveon Clowney, but the dude had been there for like 6 days. He wasn't going to be. He wasn't going to. He was not going to be in top-notch shape. And plus, on top of traveling to Denver, could he have played better? Yeah, I think everybody. You can always play better. I thought he played really damn good. We're about to assess that here pretty soon. But I think it was just a generic answer. I don't think it was a slight to Clowney.
I think it was. Well, here's two things we know about Mike Vrabel. One, he really likes Jadeveon Clowney as a person, as a football player, because of the relationship back in Houston. Two, Mike Vrabel doesn't like answering questions about direct individual players. And that's why Rob says he wasn't going to single out Clowney, so he said all. Kevin says Vrabel didn't want to single out Clowney and gave a perfect non-answer to the question. And so you get those things from football coaches, but I think this is true. What I'm about to say, I think is true. I think Clowney has to improve and play better. I think Clowney needs to get in better shape. And I think Clowney needs to have to improve and take the coaching and figure out how to operate and play better as a unit. I think all three of those statements, in my opinion, are true about Jadeveon Clowney.
But it's a so what? It's a big deal, small deal, no deal, real quick.
Oh, small deal. I mean, the shape thing's going to figure it out. He'll play better. I'm not worried about that. But the most important thing in that comment from Vrabel, in my opinion, is play better as a unit. Because Jadeveon Clowney, a couple times, not that often, but a couple times, he tried to make a hero play, which was shoot the inside gap and guess right. And he was wrong, and the ball goes outside, and they pick up a first down because he guessed wrong and tried to do a hero play. And I think if you look at Jadeveon Clowney's career, he's had several times where he's gotten burned by trying to make a hero play. Now, he's also made some fantastic plays in those decisions too. But I think that's how I translated the Mike Vrabel comment when he was asked about Clowney.
Okay, so. Question: how do you think Jadeveon Clowney played in his first game as a Titan? Right? If I downplay those comments of what Mike Vrabel said. I don't. I say no deal if we were playing that game. But how do you think Clowney played with all of what we just talked about?
Sure. All right. We'll answer those questions. Get your comments as well. How do you think Clowney played in Denver? But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute. Hey, before the Titans even signed Clowney, we had a doc talk with Dr. Looney at the Bone and Joint Institute about a sports hernia and how Jadeveon Clowney was recovering from a sports hernia. So that was great information there. The Bone and Joint Institute, they have over a dozen doctors there at their facility, their state-of-the-art art facility there in Franklin, that can make sure that you get the right recovery that you deserve for whatever that injury might be. They're the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine recovery there. Boneandjointtn.org. That's boneandjointtn.org.
So I think we've got some pretty smart Titans fans because they have aligned of what I think on this question, which is how do you think Clowney played in his first game for the Tennessee Titans against Denver? And I think, let's see, I think Farrah and Steph Dobbs hit it. He played well. He didn't play great. He didn't play bad. He played well. For being probably somewhat out of football shape because he didn't do any practice, right? He was doing it all on his own and going to Denver at like midnight and playing in an altitude that you've never been to Denver. I was in Denver like 4 weeks ago. Let me tell you, after the first day I was there, I walked up a flight of stairs and I'm not in terrible shape. Mandu has that, I'm strong right here.
Yes.
I was huffing and puffing. So I think he played well. I don't criticize him really not at all for how he played. Like, yeah, there are tweaks in the film that's not my job, but to probably improve on technique and all that stuff. But Clowney played well. He was worth the money for one game.
Zach, you can ask me the question directly, how I think Clowney played.
How do you think Jadeveon Clowney played in his first game as a Tennessee Titan?
Thought he played well considering the circumstances. Absolutely. I mean, he got after the quarterback. He had some pressure.
All that stuff you just said doesn't matter, right?
Yes, it does. I mean, because I'm looking at what Mike Vrabel thinks. Mike Vrabel thought he made a couple plays that he shouldn't have made or tried to shoot a gap where he shouldn't have done that, and he has to play better as a unit. And he acknowledged that Clowney, I think, in my translation, he acknowledged the fact that Clowney had some physical conditioning drop-off in the second half of that game. And when you only have 3 outside linebackers dressed out with Landry, Clowney, and Correa, Clowney needs to get in shape quickly. And I think Chris overall is right. Like, they signed Clowney for the second half of the season. And you want Clowney to be healthy in December and in January for you to really take that next step as an organization. But I do think I can say how I think about Vrabel's comments and also say I think Jadeveon Clowney played well considering the circumstances. I think both things can be true at the same time.
Do you agree with Victor saying, honestly, Clowney made Casey's departure irrelevant?
Irrelevance, I don't think I'm going to nitpick the irrelevant word because I think Jurrell Casey was an important part of that locker room and the defense. It made it, I don't know the right word. Irrelevant's not the right word because I don't want to. I think Jurrell Casey deserves better than that.
Jurrell does too.
Yeah, right. No, and Jurrell's a good player. So I disagree with the word irrelevant, but I understand where Victor's trying to go.
And Jurrell showed up in that game, right? Like a defensive lineman. He had deflections. He had plays. Like he's still, but again, as we talked about, and a lot of people haven't run the numbers like maybe we have, is the Jurrell Casey trade was the right trade.
Yes.
Because of not how he is playing now, but how he's going to play at 32 years old and what you're not going to be able to get for him and the value of his contract.
Well, it's because in 2020 NFL, you don't need Jurrell Casey and Jeffrey Simmons. You would rather have Jeffrey Simmons and Clowney than Jeffrey Simmons and Jurrell Casey. So the Jurrell Casey trade had to happen for Clowney to be a part of this football team.
What would they have done if they didn't sign Clowney? Who would they have played? Like, because
they would have played Wyatt Ray off the practice squad. I mean, I'm dead serious.
Okay, we were talking about that. There's really only 3 guys in rotation on the outside linebackers because Beasley didn't play. Roberson didn't play.
And Roberson was back at practice yesterday, which was good. But Roberson was out. I think because remember they cut DeAndre Walker the same day they agreed to terms with Clowney. So I don't think DeAndre Walker would have been cut. So Roberson still could have been injured. I think you would have had DeAndre Walker and you would have had to bring up like a Wyatt Ray guy from a practice squad. But yeah, that they would have been in a tough spot there, but Correa and Landry would have been your starters.
So it actually worked out for him.
Absolutely. All right, so everybody thinks Clowney played fairly well for his first time out there without an entire offseason. So we can agree with that?
Yes.
All right, A to Z Sports.
And I agree, Griffin. That would have been gross.
It would have been gross. It would have been very ugly. All right, A to Z Sports. Let's talk about Corey Davis. Zach, you have a very interesting question about Corey Davis. It's very simple, but I'm very intrigued to see the audience reaction to this. Over or under 1,000 yards this year for crossing route Corey? Over or under 1,000 yards this year for Corey Davis? But first, tell the people about Calvin and Settle.
I do also, before I tell them about Calvin Settle, this is the most overreaction question ever. But we did this on purpose. So everybody looking to be like, what the hell are we doing? I do this on purpose, but this is complete overreaction question after Corey Davis had like one of probably 5 good games of his career. Let's do this because it was week 1. He's a 5th overall pick. Let's do it. Who cares? Screw it. We're playing with house money today.
Yeah,
You're
we're playing
also
that my bookie free money.
Yeah, and speaking of house, you can upgrade your house with less money by getting new hardwood floors from Calvin and Settle. 615-448-6414. That's 615-448-6414. Go online for calvinandsettle.com. Look, hardwood finishings, they have you covered here in Middle Tennessee. You call them up, you say, hey, I want you to come out. We want to rip up this old carpet, this old dirty carpet that's in our living room or in our den. We want some nice hardwood floors. And, you know what? Suggest this to your wife, right? You talk about brownie points. You're cooking with gas, baby. If you're like, hey, honey, I think we need to call Calvin and Settle at 615-448-6414. Let's rip up this carpet. Let's get some new hardwood floors. And it will be cost effective. That's the best part about Calvin and Settle. They'll hook you up 1 to 2 weeks. They'll order the material after you decide on your hardwood floors. Boom. It's installed and everything is great. 615-448-6414 or online at calvinandsettle.com.
All right, A to Z Sports. The question is over or under 1,000 yards receiving for Corey Davis this year. He's a 10th of the way there, right? With 101 in week 1. Corey Davis is on the right track to get to 1,000. So I'm trying to scroll to the top of the comments.
There's so many comments.
Comments.
I can't. I mean, we apologize.
Rapid fire over under. Steph 212 say under. Scott is over. Kalen says he's hurt, and AJ Brown. Well, the injury report is what it is right now. B-Rad says over. Let's see. Kalen over. Derichler and Kevin and Derek and Paulie are under. Michael McDonald and Premier Titan are over. Victor is over. Brad says exactly 1,000. He's saying push. Jared Hicks says, Bob, I'd like 101, please. So Tom says under at 984. Curtis says over by 50. Yannick and Tevrin saying under. Gerald adding under. Kevin says, unfortunately, under. Too many playmakers here. Clayton on YouTube going with an under. Lucas under. Drop the album under. Let's see. Derek says 800 to 900 under that he's already banged up. So that's a lot of questions. That's a lot of answers right there. John says over depending on his health.
Read that one.
What the hell are y'all doing? No.
I'm with Dom.
Now Dom also says this. Whenever you get 5 laughing, crying emojis, we're doing something the right way.
I'm with Dom. What the hell are y'all doing?
Now, hold on. I sent out a bat signal for Teron Davenport to join the show, and hopefully he hops in here in a second, because Teron's preseason bold prediction for the Tennessee Titans at ESPN.com was that the Titans will have 2 1,000-yard receivers, and Teron's bold prediction said that AJ and Corey Davis will both go over 1,000 yards. So you got TD believing in the offense. And look, it's a long year, and a lot of you guys commented with there's a lot of weapons. And I thought Buck put out a really good tweet during the game that this offense is set up where on a night where A.J. Brown was slowed down or not really unleashed the way we thought he might, and Derrick Henry was a slow starting performance at running back, you've got Corey Davis to step up. Jonnu Smith on the screen stepped up. Adam Humphries, big catches down the stretch to step up. So the Titans offense is set up to have one guy have a bad night and everything's going to be okay. So if I'm not going to bet on Corey Davis to have 1,000-yard season. I think realistically, I think he gets close. I think he's over 900. I think he and AJ are both over 900. I don't think Corey's going to get 1,000, but pretty close and a very good year for crossing route contract year, Corey.
Yeah, well, over 900 does not equal over 1,000. So
That's
you're
what I
going
said. That's what I said. So I said under.
I mean, he's under. And bet on history. Don't bet on one game, right? History tells us that things that could, not will, but could get in Corey Davis's way. Injury could get in Corey Davis's way because it has in the past. Games off where he is just not there, non-existent. That tells us that it's going to be difficult for him to get 1,000 yards. But those are cons. I think there are some pros. I think that there is some rapport. I do want to say this.
Yeah.
The unsung hero of the game Monday night was Adam Humphries.
Agree.
Like that guy with the catches that he made in the spots that he was put in, Adam Humphries needs to get credit. And I like the connection between Ryan Tannehill and Adam Humphries. I'm curious to see if that will continue. But Corey Davis is under. Now, so we said cons. The pros are A.J. Brown will attract more attention. Derrick Henry will attract more attention. Corey Davis, I think, can catch. Like, he has good hands. Like, I don't think that was the problem. He hadn't been targeted a lot in his career.
Can I add another pro for the Corey Davis over 1,000, which I'm not predicting though? Another pro is last year Corey Davis was open. Like, you can go look at Pro Football Focus numbers of separation created. Corey Davis ranked very high in getting open, but Ryan Tannehill was not looking his way. And there you go, week 1 of the new year. Ryan Tannehill had 8 targets for Corey Davis. So I think Corey Davis is going to get a lot more looks just simply because Ryan Tannehill is more comfortable with Corey Davis.
And 901 in Cali is correct. CD knows what it's at stake. And what's at stake, let's just be honest, is probably, I'm not going to say his career, but I mean, it's kind of right. Because if he plays really poorly as a 5th overall pick, he's going to go and the opportunities will be a lot less.
Corey Davis kind of reminds me, and it's not exactly apples to apples, but Corey Davis reminds me of like Sammy Watkins. Like Sammy Watkins was a very high draft pick by a football team and a franchise that did not know how to throw the football for several years in Buffalo. And he never really lived up to what that draft slot was. But the guy's made a bunch of money, and he's playing a long time in the NFL. And now he's on a team in Kansas City where he doesn't have to be the number 1 guy. He's very talented, but there's a lot of weapons with the Chiefs. There's a lot of weapons with the Titans offense where he can fit nicely and not have the pressure of being the number 1 guy. But that took Sammy Watkins leaving the place that drafted him to become that. I think Corey Davis, you can see a glimpse of it this year. But again, like Corey Davis is not going to be the Titans in 21. Like he's going.
Somebody else is going to reap the benefit if there is any benefit. But I think that's a great comparison. Sammy, that's the best case scenario for Corey Davis. The issue is Sammy Watkins has benefited off of a great situation. And that's hard to find, right? Like
when Corey Davis had really bad situations for the first 3 years in his 2.5 years of his career.
But really good situations are hard to find.
He's in one now. I think Corey Davis is in a really good situation right now.
What? Playing for his life? What do you mean?
With his role in the offense.
Yeah, but we're talking about the future, right? Like obviously, like, yes, he's better. The team is better, right? So, yes, he is in a better spot. But it's not about that. Let's go back to this is Corey Davis's probably his last year as a Tennessee Titan.
Yes.
They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. He's probably not coming back. He's putting it all on the line. This year, 2020, is a tryout for another team.
Absolutely. And Rob says that rotten banana looked good week 1. Shout out Tighten Up Pod.
Yeah, it was more like banana bread.
Well, no, they've already made banana bread. And I don't know about you guys. I love banana bread. And I think it showed you that instead of just letting the bananas rot to where you had to throw them out, they actually used the rotting bananas to make some really good banana bread. And that's what Corey Davis has the opportunity to be. And week 1 looks like it's on the banana bread route, not on, damn it, I forgot to make banana bread. These go in the trash.
Yeah.
So all right. So you thought I had my hottest take of the week with my Mike Vrabel Clowney comment.
No, after you actually said it, it wasn't that hot.
Okay. So it cooled
You
off.
downplayed it.
What do you mean I downplayed it?
You didn't bring the juice.
No, you
didn't bring the juice on that take.
I thought I brought
it was a miss.
I thought I brought appropriate juice level. I wasn't trying to blow it out of proportion. I gave you my true thoughts about what Vrabel said about Clowney.
And it just wasn't that hot. It was like a pilot light.
So you overestimated what you thought I was going to say.
No, you didn't bring enough juice to what I originally thought you were going to say.
So you wished I made it a hotter take.
Well, look, you make the take as hot as you want it. It's your take.
I'm not in here for
you just didn't make it that hot.
I'm not here to be the hot take king. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to be.
I was not. That's why I'm not ragging you on.
Well, no, you prematurely labeled it the hottest take I've had all.
Because what you told me before the show, you were going to bring a lot more juice than what you brought.
I did not bring up juice or no juice.
No. I didn't say you did, but. From what you were talking about, it fell short.
You told me to not talk about my take pre-show. But anyway, I think you did give me credit for the Corey Davis, Sammy Watkins take.
Yeah, I don't, and I was racking my brain as you were talking. I don't see, or he could turn out, well, he can't turn out like Justin Blackman. Isaiah Wilson can turn out like Justin Blackman.
Yeah, he's very close to that.
Right? But who is just a bust? Because Kevin White from the Bears is unfair because he
was hurt the whole time.
He was just hurt, right?
And Sean, thank you. I did not claim it was a hot take. Zach assumed it was a hot take. Thank you.
Tavon Austin, receiver from TCU.
Tavon Austin. How about that one?
He resurrected his career with the Rams a little bit.
Who is the receiver from TCU?
Yeah, you remember the Laquan Treadwell year, the TCU wide receiver?
Corey Coleman?
Yeah. Bye-bye.
That guy was really bad. Corey Davis was even without this year, Corey Davis was way better than Coleman. That guy didn't know how to run routes. He wasn't smart enough to pick up an offense.
That's what I say. It's hard to say, and that's the positive comparison is Sammy Watkins. I'm trying to think of a guy who comes in as a top 10 pick and just doesn't do very well.
Darius Hayward-Bay. That's a good one. Overdrafted, wasn't good with the Raiders, went to like a couple other teams and really he was not Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, he made money, but there you go. Thank you, Derek. That's why we do this show. That's why we do this show.
So the best case scenario for Corey Davis is to become like Sammy Watkins. Not the worst case, but a lower standard for Corey Davis is to be a Darius Hayward-Bay. And Corey Coleman went to Baylor, so that wasn't TCU. I don't know who the TCU wide receiver is. Josh Doxson. Thank you, T-Fizz.
That's who it is.
Both way worse. All right, Zach.
Where the hell is Josh Doxson?
You can look that up because I don't
plays
know.
Football. It's funny.
In the XFL
for the New York Jets.
Of course, which is who I think Corey Davis is probably going to go to. I feel like Corey Davis signs a big contract for $12 million a year with the New York Jets. March 2000.
Opted out.
Oh, he did?
What?
He's been opted out since he got drafted.
I know. That doesn't make any sense. Roster status, opt out. So Redskins, Vikings, Jets, opt out. Yep. R.I.P. Josh Doxson.
All right, guys. Ooh, John brings in a hot take for the Titans that I'm not going to show it on the screen because I like it a lot, and we're probably going to talk about it in our pregame show on Sunday live from the mainstay. So, John,
I have a reason why he could be right and a reason why he could be very wrong.
Oh, well, I also have those reasons. All right, but Zach, it is time for the Magic Bucket, brought to you by BioPure Music City. For the Magic Bucket, I am prepared this week, and I will be prepared, Zach, for the next 19 weeks.
Well, yeah. Well, you don't get fooled.
I got my stickers. And before we get to the Magic Bucket, let me tell you guys about Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, where one lucky viewer after the show, they don't know it yet, but they just won 4 free workouts at Mandu. And I've got the winner in my email, and I'm going to reach out to them, and they've been watching the show today. So that's just a tease where one of you guys who watched the show on Tuesday won 4 free workouts at Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, where a 15-minute workout equals 5 hours in the weight room from full body muscle, electronic muscle stimulation. Guys, the science is real. The results are real. It's awesome during this pandemic because it's by appointment only, and you can make sure that you are safe and you get fit and get rid of that quarantine weight. Mandu.com is where to go.
Get fit and then get clean with BioPure. It is changing the standard of clean. Like the coronavirus is real, but you can clean up your house and your office with BioPure. Let's get to your sticker. I'm curious to see what you're rocking with now that you finally want to participate this week.
Yeah, so I'm loaded with stickers. And so now I just have options that I have to pick the right sticker, the best sticker for the particular week. And because I think the season is back, the football season is here, so I think this is a very appropriate sticker, especially as the SEC gets going a week from now. But this is going on the bucket, Zach. It's game day. And I feel like everybody watching this show relates to this sticker. I can't do that. It's game day. I can't go to this dinner
brunch.
Party. It's game day. I can't go to brunch. I can't do yard work. I can't do laundry. I can't do anything. It's game day. So I think this sticker, very appropriate for the times, will go on the Magic Bucket.
I like that sticker.
Because you relate to it.
I can't watch my kids. It's game day. I like that one.
So there it is right there on the Magic Bucket for BioPure Music City. So, Zach, since you had the week off, I will pull first for you. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I there's a couple that I don't want, and I'm
sure there's a few of them. Also, Ethan brought up that no hula hoop has been done yet. Well, that will happen tomorrow. We were too busy on Tuesday, and we forgot about it because we were sleep deprived as well.
We did not forget about it. You did.
I forgot about it.
Like, don't lump me in on that.
Somehow, Zach, I pulled the damn Elton John thing again. I don't understand. Like, that must have, like, magnet on the paper for that to happen. Okay, Zach. And now the bucket just dumped out all over my lap, but I will fix that. Now, Zach, I've done this, Zach, and now you have to do this on Monday. Monday is going to be a big show. And we're actually going to be live at BioPure. So this actually works out really well. We're going to be live at BioPure Music City next Monday. And Zach, you have to drink out of a baby's bottle all Monday long throughout the show. And so I hope you're not a little dehydrated on Monday because that is a tough one. Because you barely get any liquid, any water out of that thing, and you will be thirsty by the time the show is over.
Well, no, not if you re-engineer the nipple and you poke a bigger hole in the top of it. Then you're chugging big water.
But now you're risking spillage. So I'm just.
Well, no, that's why you put it in your mouth.
All right, guys. BioPure Music City. That is where you should go. Hospital grade disinfectant. They are approved, registered for coronavirus. No harmful residue on surfaces. They're safe on your electronics, your office, and your furniture. They have literally sprayed my computer and killed all the germs that are on my computer. Also, they're safe for your pets as well. So BioPure Music City, you see their phone number right there on your screen, 615-635-0555. They are changing the standard of clean. If you want them to come to your house, do it. If you want them to come to your place of business, absolutely. They can reduce sick days. BioPure Music City. They also have a lot of new products coming out at biopureservice.com. The BioPure Music City Magic Bucket. Now this is for me. B-Red asked, do you have to wear a bib? You don't have to, but if you want to add some.
You can rip that up because it's done.
Right? And it's right here. I will rip it up. So, you have done this, and now I have to. Read the last text message that you sent, not to anyone associated with A to Z Sports.
This is a hit or miss, right? So like
Yeah.
mine was so it really fell short, but this is, who knows? And you got to be truthful. This is why it sucks.
All right. So it's fairly easy. Here it is with no content. I doubt they would give up what it would take to get him. Now you can try to piece together what I'm texting about.
When was this sent?
This was yesterday at 4:00.
You have not sent any other text message to anybody?
Non-related to family or associated with A to Z Sports.
What does it say?
I'm not. The last text is not anyone associated with A to Z Sports.
It's not family. It doesn't say family. It says not anybody associated with A to Z Sports.
Oh, okay. Well, so my wife. Does my wife count?
I mean, what's the text message? It's what the thing says. I'm not making these rules.
Now, I sent a picture to my wife this morning before the show because our dog Sophie, her favorite nap spot is
I'm glad it was that kind of picture. It wasn't.
Yeah. No. No, one of our dogs, Sophie, her favorite napping spot is right where I sit and do the show. And so every morning I have to kick her out of her favorite nap spot to do the show. So I texted a picture with no words to my wife of Sophie sleeping.
So that was the last text message that was sent.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to see the picture?
No, I'm making sure that you're just abiding by the rules. I don't care.
There's no words to it, so I can't read it. But the last text that I sent with words to somebody not associated to A to Z Sports was, I doubt they would give up what it would take to get him.
And that is a trade relate.
Yes, and it was about Allen Robinson.
Yeah, B-Ray actually got that right. He called that.
Yeah. So I doubt the Titans will give up what it would take to get Allen Robinson. That's just my opinion on that. No information's had.
Yeah, I don't know if they need him. Well, I don't know. They may need him.
With your best two wide receivers on the injury report yesterday?
I don't think they would trade for him.
No, because they wouldn't give up what it would take to get him, which is going to be a high pick because Allen Robinson is really good. Really, really good.
Have you seen the video of Allen Robinson with like the Sarah McLachlan music of Mitch Trubisky just throwing the ball into the dirt and just being
he's never had a quarterback because it's Blake Bortles. Rescue Allen Robinson.
We talked about Corey Davis being a bad situation because of Mariota. Like Allen Robinson's a great example of but he's been able to, I would say, build a really good reputation as a good wide receiver with those trash quarterbacks.
Yeah, we're like NFL people who watch film and break down film are like Allen Robinson is the best kept secret across the NFL because all the quarterbacks he plays with are trash. Absolute trash.
I thought Rashaan Evans was going to be the best kept secret until he punched that guy in the face.
Now everybody knows who he is. Yeah. All right, well that's it. That's the magic bucket for this week. So I will throw away both of these. They're both now expired because we have both done it, and now you have to on Monday. You can borrow the baby bottle that I bought if you want. I mean, it's clean. I washed it with soap and water and everything. So to save yourself a trip from the store, you can borrow that if you feel like it.
Yeah, and before we go, so I am playing Madden tomorrow. I'm going through a season, right? Madden 21. So I'm trying to make this as authentic as I possibly can because I hate this is like side shade. I hate Ultimate Team. Like I hate seeing like Lamar Jackson with a Titans uniform or like him on the Browns. That is so stupid. So I'm trying to play authentic. Had a tight, close game, very similar to the actual game. Titans-Denver, playing that tomorrow around noon. The Titans will be wearing white jerseys with blue pants, navy blue pants. That was released yesterday because of the Britches report. Shout out to Jim Wyatt. I'm trying to figure out what the Jags are going to wear because that has not been disclosed. My prediction is that they will wear their alternate aqua uniform, but I do not know that.
That would make sense because they're not going to wear black, although
black is their primary color.
Right, but it's actually not. It's going to be beautiful in Nashville this week.
I know.
So they might wear black because it's not going to be that hot.
I think they're wearing. Here's my philosophy. I don't get a chance to talk a lot of jersey talk, so I'm just gonna take my opportunity now. My philosophy on why they're going to wear aqua over white is because they wore aqua last year at home against the Titans and won. That's what I'm predicting. Teal, aqua, teal, whatever the hell.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. B-Rat says wearing black. I don't know. Is that out?
I looked. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, John, it's only going to be 75 degrees. It's going to be amazing.
And Rob, they cannot do white on black because the Titans are wearing white. So they have to choose between black and teal. I've looked. I can't find it.
Well, B-Rat says they've announced it already.
No, he says, I think they have already announced it.
Okay.
I looked. But
you did?
if you can find out before tomorrow at noon when I play my Madden game, tweet me at Bada Bingham, Bada_Bingham. I want to know because I'm trying to make this authentic. So
I'm trying to do quick research.
I don't know. And I'm a jersey freak.
You are.
Oh, speaking of jerseys, did you see Ole Miss's jersey?
No.
Ole Miss against Florida, they're pulling out baby blue jerseys.
Love it.
They are nasty.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
So that's what it is.
All right,
so
guys.
If you find out, let me know.
Yeah, have a great Thursday. I know there's a 615 Station podcast coming out that you're going to want to listen to if you're a Titans fan. Buck had a really good conversation with one of the vice presidents for the Tennessee Titans on the 615 session, so check that out. Also, the Tighten Up pod with Young Buck with Austin Huff and Jack Gentry was very, very good. And B-Rat has confirmed that the Jags are wearing black. He said can confirm.
Ooh, and yeah, I just saw that.
So you're wrong.
I may have found a new website. Thank you guys. Look, you guys are helping me out.
What,
this is good. I'm going to waste a lot of time on this.
All right, have a great rest of your Thursday. We will see you Friday morning. I will hula hoop. I have the hula hoop. It's going to happen tomorrow morning. We're on location once again. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Adios.